It was an ordinary Thursday morning in the heart of the city's tech district. The glass skyscrapers shimmered in the morning sun, casting long shadows over the pavement. Inside the towering headquarters of Technova, a quiet woman stepped into the main lobby, holding a folder close to her chest. She wasn't wearing a designer suit, no high heels, no diamond earrings, just a faded blouse, gray slacks, and worn-out flats that had seen better days. Her name was Elena. Nobody noticed her, but they would. Moments later, she was led into a conference room on the 40th floor, a floor known as the power level, where decisions were made that shaped industries. The walls were glass, the table was solid mahogany, and the people waiting inside were sharks. 5 executives sat there. Linda, the HR director, with a sharp red blazer and a sharper tongue. Robert, VP of Business, twirling a Mont Blanc pen like he was bored already. Emily, head of data strategy, stone-faced behind thick-rimmed glasses. James, director of operations, arms folded, unimpressed. Sophie, product lead, expression blank, eyes judgmental. As Elena entered, they gave her one long look and dismissed her in the same breath. Linda leaned toward Robert and whispered, not quietly enough, "She looks like she dressed from a thrift store clearance bin." Robert chuckled. Emily raised an eyebrow. James didn't even look up. Sophie glanced at Elena's shoes, then sighed. Elena quietly approached the table and handed over her resume. Linda took it, glanced for 2 seconds, and slid it across to Robert. He didn't even try to hide his smirk. No leadership experience, irrelevant degree, no recognizable companies on your CV, he said. So tell us, why do you think you're qualified for a senior role at Technova? Elena's voice was calm, steady. I've spent the last 10 years optimizing scalable systems. My last project helped triple revenue for a struggling startup. I'm not here because I look the part. I'm here because I solve problems most people haven't even seen yet. James laughed. Scalable systems? Sounds like a school project. Sophie muttered. Does she even have a tech degree? Emily chimed in coldly. What's your major? Sociology. Elena replied. Computer science. Focused on AI and ethics. I've published. She was cut off. We don't need published articles, Robert snapped. We need results. And just like that, the attacks came one after another. Linda picked up a marker and, without shame, scrawled a word across Elena's resume in thick black ink. Loser. Then she tossed the paper back at Elena. James clapped. That's her title now. The entire panel laughed. Elena stood still. She didn't flinch. Her hands gently collected the resume, now defaced, but her gaze never dropped. I'm not here for your approval, she said. I'm here because I believe this company valued innovation and courage. Robert leaned forward. Well, you were wrong. Then the humiliation escalated. Robert pulled out a surprise test, 10 pages of brutal coding and logic problems. No laptop, no calculator. Let's see what you've got, Elena nodded. She took a pen, and within minutes, her hands were moving, scribbling solutions like she lived inside the code. They watched, rolling eyes. When she handed it back, Robert looked at one page and tore the entire packet in half. Waste of paper. James reached for the water pitcher and dumped it on Elena's head. Her blouse clung to her skin, soaked. Cool off, he sneered. Linda laughed. Emily pulled out her phone and took a photo. Then came the guards. 2 men in black polos entered. Escort her out, Linda ordered. As they grabbed her arms, Elena didn't resist. She walked. No tears, no begging, just quiet dignity. But before they reached the elevator, Robert yanked her folder from her hands and ripped it apart. The scraps fluttered like snow. "No place for frauds here," he shouted. Elena knelt to pick them up. One guard kicked the papers away. "Leave it. Trash belongs in the bin." Still, she picked them up. Still, she didn't say a word. The next morning, Technova's executive boardroom was packed. A mandatory emergency meeting. No one knew why. Then the doors swung open, and Alexander, the founder and CEO of Technova, entered. Tall, charismatic, deadly calm. Everyone stood. They hadn't seen him in months. Rumors said he ran the company from behind the scenes, rarely appearing. But now he was here, and by his side was Elena. Same flats, same blouse, same calm. Linda gasped audibly. Robert went pale. Emily's glasses fogged. Sophie froze. Alexander didn't sit. He stood at the head of the room. "I asked you to interview candidates for a key leadership position. What I saw instead was disgraceful." He turned to the screen behind him. A video played. Security footage. Everything. Every insult. Every laugh. Every drop of water. No one could hide. Alexander spoke slowly, firmly. "This woman is my wife. The woman who built Technova with me from nothing. When we had no office, no funding, no future. She coded the systems you use today. You didn't humiliate an applicant. You disgraced the mind behind your success." Silence. He walked past each one of them. "Linda, you defaced her resume. Robert, you ripped up her work. James, you poured water on her like she wasn't human. Emily, you captured her pain for clicks. Sophie, you stood silent. Silence is complicity." Then he turned to security. "Escort them out." Now, the same guards who once dragged Elena now led Linda, Robert, Emily, James, and Sophie out. One by one. No titles, no severance. Just termination. Their badges were taken. Their names were removed from company directories. Their emails locked. In less than 5 minutes, their careers were over. Not because they lacked skills, but because they lacked character. 6 months later, Technova was being praised worldwide for its internal reforms. Its culture was now synonymous with respect, innovation, and emotional intelligence. Elena had been promoted to Chief Strategy Officer. She now spoke at international ethics and tech forums. Her influence expanded far beyond the walls of Technova, but she never changed. Still wore simple clothes, still walked with quiet steps, still treated everyone with kindness, from the janitor to the chairman. One rainy afternoon, Elena was walking through the city when she passed a man slumped against a wall, holding a cardboard sign. "Please help." It was Robert, unshaven, shivering, lost. He looked up and recognized her. Shame flushed his face. Elena reached into her pocket, pulled out a gold-colored coin, and dropped it into his hand. Their eyes met. She didn't speak, just smiled faintly and walked away. That coin wasn't pity. It was closure. Ending message. Have you ever been judged because of how you looked? Because of where you came from? Let this story remind you, your value doesn't come from their perception. It comes from your purpose. Let your success be the answer to their mockery. Walk in silence, but let your victory echo